Hey, how's everybody doing? Today I want to focus in on the whole idea about how to complete citations. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show my Oreo analogy. So we all like Oreos. Oreos are very good, but you have both the cream filling and you also have the cookie itself. So hopefully this helps you out as far as how to make citations, both for an AP exam or overall just for your college assignments or even just writing in general. So let's talk about this first. All right, so the first thing you want to do is get into the whole idea about the cream filling, because that cream filling equals the quotes from the text. So the who, know your author and cite him or her correctly. In this case, I'm talking about Charles Dickens. The what, textual evidence that proves your point and strengthens your claim from a specific page number, specific characters, scenes, figurative language, etc. When, where, right. Right smack dab in the middle is the ACE, so that's the ACE. And then the Y is to prove your point, strengthen your claim, and to provide relevant ideas or examples. These are the reasons why we use quotes from the textbook or from any kind of text for that matter, from the documents. So you really want to get to the point to where you have your documents to speak for you, and that keeps you from having any kind of biases or things like that as well. So now citing your sources. What are some good sources? First, a good source would be like a book, website, or article. You want to consult maybe Purdue Alpha, MLA. If you do searches, you could also do various ways to do AP as well. Follow these steps to properly cite. For this essay, our source is The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. We will cite as follows: last name, first name, title, city, publication, publisher, year of publication, and the medium, meaning what was it, a book or something like that, print. So this is all following MLA formatting. You also got APA, you also got Turabian, you also got Chicago, you got Chicago South Turabian, you got various forms, but you really can use your computer to help you out with that. So this right here is an example of citing MLA, and that's totally acceptable by many colleges, universities, and high school instructors as well. All right, so now paraphrase. This is a big one. Anytime you're doing some quoting, you do not always have to do the quote. Anytime you do a quote, it's really for when you find something that's just perfect, it's spot on, it can't be said better. But you really want to balance your use of quotes with the use of paraphrases. I'm also tell you always use paraphrases over quotes because paraphrasing will keep you from coming up on plagiarism citation sites because you're using your own words, but you still got to give the author the credit because it's maybe your own words, but the ideas come from that of an author. All right, so how much? Main point, you need to provide support to your claim. Therefore, it depends. No less than 3 quotes is what you want to really get through. No more than an A and an E. The ratio of 1 to 2, meaning you should have 1 C for every A and E that you have. Remember, talking about the whole idea of ACE. Again, 1 C for every A and E that you have. Okay, so the A will be the top of the cookie, and then the B is going to be the bottom of the cookie. Okay, so A is will be your answer. Is when you introduce your quote, you set up your readers for an example. C is where you actually cite the quote. This will be your cream filling, so you cite your source, and then E is you explain it. You basically thoroughly explain your whole quote. How does it connect back to your major claim? So your claim, of course, will be your thesis statement, and then you have your ACE. This is 3 sentences already in a body paragraph, but the middle sentence is where you're gonna have your quote. It's either be a quote, direct quote or a paraphrase. I'm gonna say paraphrase, and you provide the citation at the end. But you always want to do the ACE model because that way you make sure you always really don't have a quote just being thrown in there, and it helps with the readability of your work as well. So the A is when you introduce a quote, provide an example, or set up the scene. C is where you have your quote, preferably your paraphrase, where you write the quote in your own words. And then E, you explain how this quote ties back to your initial thesis statement. So let's go a little bit deeper into this. So explain. Your words, thoughts, explanations are the most important part of your analysis. It's the key part of it. We all love the cream filling, but it will be just the frosting without the cookie. And the frosting will get all over the place. The cookie itself is what keeps that Oreo together. We all know to use textual evidence but it would just be quotes without the explanation. Therefore, you got to make some connections. How does this strengthen your claim? Again, your thesis statement. You got to make sure you show, what does your example show? How does it help really bring this whole cookie together? And then you got to explain to the reader who has not yet read the novel. So again, you are talking about something that your reader has not looked at. Maybe they don't know the documents. Maybe they don't know the book. You guys try to help explain it. Assume they don't know. That way you really force yourself to be more exploratory. All right, so here's the idea of connecting C with E. Here's the quote sandwich. All right. So first you got to do introduce it, you quote it, and then you explain it. Okay, so here's an example. Okay. Again, in this case here, we're using MLA, but you notice here, before sharing your quote, introduce it with a transition. So example, Charles Dickens paints a picture for his readers using imagery when he writes blah, blah, blah. Okay. Another example, Scrooge believes blah, blah, blah. Then after you have introduced your quote, add the quote properly using quotation marks. So then it says, example here, Charles Dickens paints a picture of, for his readers using imagery when he writes, quote, there was nothing very cheerful in the climate or the town, and yet there was an air of cheerfulness abroad that the clearest summer air and brightest summer sun might have endeavored to diffuse to vain. Then you have the end of your citation. All right. Now, you got the same idea. So example, Scrooge believes that Christmas is a, quote, humbug. It could be that simple. Then you want to explain it. Now explain why the quote you've chosen is important and significant to your analysis. Example, what does this quote mean? How does it relate to the story of conflict? How does it connect with the thesis and theme? Why should readers notice it? These are the questions you want to consider answering after you finish your quote, or again, my ideas using the paraphrase. All right, so this presentation is going to be embedded on the YouTube link in the description, so you can always click on these two links to help you guys out. All right, so the highlight your quotes and paraphrases with the yellow highlighter option in Google Docs. So this is for all my students because we use a lot of Google Classroom. For the students that are taking the AP 2020 administration or the AP exam, highlight your quotes and paraphrases. That way you can see that you make sure you're using your documents for the AP exam. And then it's just in general to make sure you are actually keeping everything well balanced, okay? Because you don't want to have so much highlighted to where you actually have none of your own analysis. So the visual is to help to keep you balanced for your body paragraphs. All right, so thank you very much. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any kind of questions or concerns, please make sure you guys let me know. You can make the comment in the comments box.